In the morning, more and more people are seeing higher blood sugar readings, feeling heavy all day and getting tired easily. Many older adults have been told during a health checkup that they are in the prediabetes range, and quite a few are already taking medication because of blood sugar. But when most people think about managing blood sugar, they immediately think of things like cutting out sweets, eating less rice, or exercising more. Of course, those things matter. But in real daily life, what often has the biggest impact is something that seems small, one meal, especially breakfast. After fasting overnight, the body naturally prepares to use energy. When morning comes, to do that, it releases glucose into the bloodstream. That is why mornings are a time when blood sugar can rise more easily. What you eat at that moment can completely change the flow of your blood sugar for the entire day. This is also why the same food can raise blood sugar more when eaten in the morning. So breakfast is not just a time to fill your stomach. It is the starting point that sets the direction for your blood sugar all day. Many older adults do not have much appetite in the morning, so they often eat porridge, mix rice into soup, or keep it simple with bread, jam, and coffee. Some skip breakfast entirely and eat a large lunch instead. But when these habits repeat, blood sugar becomes easier to shake, and the body becomes more sensitive to sugar over time. The key point is this: blood sugar management is not a battle of willpower. It is a process of stabilizing the body's rhythm. Strategies based on extreme restriction, skipping meals, or cutting too much are hard to sustain and can sometimes backfire. So today, instead of focusing on one person's claim or complicated medical terms, I will explain things in a way older adults can understand and practice right away. Step by step, we will look at why breakfast matters, how small changes can support steadier blood sugar, and what you can realistically do without feeling overwhelmed. This is not meant to scare anyone, and it does not promise a miracle in a short time. Instead, it explains how one daily meal can change the body, why breakfast is so important, and what you can adjust gently and realistically to support blood sugar control. Before we continue, there is one point that must be clear. Blood sugar differs from person to person and can change, depending on circumstances. If you are already taking medication, you should never stop or change it on your own. However, improving eating habits can help anyone. And if your condition improves, the correct order is to discuss adjustments with your medical team. With that clearly stated, let us continue. Why is breakfast so important? During the night, the body may look like it is resting, but it is constantly working, breathing, keeping the heart beating, maintaining body temperature, and powering the brain. That energy comes from sugar stored in the liver. By morning, the body has already been using that stored fuel, and it is ready to take in new fuel to start the day. If the first food you eat is mainly fast-absorbing sugar and refined carbohydrates, blood sugar rises sharply and then drops sharply. When this up and down pattern repeats, the body becomes exhausted from trying to control blood sugar. But if you eat foods that digest and absorb more slowly, blood sugar rises more gently and the body can start the day in a more stable way. Here, the most important roles are played by protein and fiber. Many people think protein only means meat, but protein is also found in common foods that are already on most tables: eggs, tofu, beans, fish, milk, and yogurt. Protein barely raises blood sugar and helps keep you full longer, which makes it especially important at breakfast. Fiber is found in vegetables and whole grains, and it slows down the speed at which sugar is absorbed in the intestines. So the basic structure of breakfast is very simple. First, make sure you have protein, add vegetables, and then reduce the amount of carbohydrates like rice or bread and eat them last. Even with the same overall amount of food, following this order can change your blood sugar response. For example, if you eat rice for breakfast, do not start with rice. Start with vegetables or side dishes first. Then eat a protein side dish, such as eggs or tofu, and eat rice last. For rice, begin with an amount slightly smaller than your fist. It may look small at first, but when protein and vegetables are included, fullness lasts longer than you might expect. If you eat bread, the same idea applies. Instead of finishing breakfast with one slice of bread spread with jam, reduce the bread portion and add eggs, yogurt, or nuts. Blood sugar swings can decrease significantly. Many people also eat fruit in the morning. Fruit itself is not bad, but eating a large amount of fruit alone, or drinking it as juice, absorbs too quickly and can raise blood sugar easily. Fruit is better as a small side with a meal, and it is much more stable when eaten together with protein. Many older adults also have the habit of drinking only coffee in the morning. Coffee on an empty stomach can feel clean for a moment, but it can make blood sugar and appetite more unstable. If you drink coffee, also drink water, and if possible, eat a simple protein food with it. Once you understand these basic principles, breakfast does not have to feel difficult. You do not need special ingredients. You can build a stable meal from what you already have at home. For example, 2 eggs, kimchi, 1 vegetable side dish, and a small portion of rice. This alone can create a much more stable morning. You can also divide a block of tofu and eat it as a side dish with vegetables. Yogurt with nuts and a few pieces of fruit is another low-burden option. What matters is not trying to be perfect, but moving in a slightly better direction than yesterday. Today you might reduce rice a little. Tomorrow you might add 1 more protein item. Slowly changing is still enough. When breakfast becomes more stable, many people notice something surprising. Their lunch and dinner choices begin to change too. If blood sugar does not swing sharply in the morning, cravings for sweets decrease and overeating becomes less likely. As the body begins to feel more comfortable daily, life starts to settle into a better rhythm. Blood sugar management is not something that ends overnight, but changing the start of the day can have more power than you think. What is described here may not fit everyone perfectly, which is why it is important to watch your own body's response. After changing breakfast, observe your fasting blood sugar, whether post-meal. Sleepiness decreases, and how your daily condition feels. Small changes build up, and the body will send signals. Respecting those signals is the first step in protecting your health. As mentioned earlier, changing the structure of breakfast can change the flow of blood sugar throughout the day. But many people then ask, I changed breakfast, but my blood sugar doesn't seem to change much. In that case, it helps to check a few things together. First, check the amount you are eating. Even healthy foods can raise blood sugar if the portion is large. Grains such as rice and oatmeal can provide plenty of energy, even in small amounts. So in the morning, instead of eating until you are completely full, practice stopping when you feel this is enough. Many older adults grew up believing you should never leave food behind, so this may not be easy. But for the body, a new standard is needed. A comfortable meal is more important than an empty plate. Second, check eating speed. Many people eat breakfast in a hurry. When you chew quickly and swallow quickly, blood sugar rises faster and the fullness signal arrives later. So for breakfast, try to chew more slowly on purpose. Put 1 bite in your mouth and chew at least about 15 times. It feels awkward at first, but after a few days, many people notice their stomach feels much better. More chewing increases saliva and digestion begins more smoothly. This small difference can strongly affect blood sugar and gut health. Third, check what happens after breakfast. If you eat and then immediately lie down or sit still for a long time, blood sugar can stay higher for longer. This does not mean you need hard exercise. Simply organizing around the house or taking a gentle walk helps stabilize blood sugar because it helps the body use glucose. Next, we must talk about the habit of skipping breakfast. Some people skip breakfast because they worry about blood sugar, but skipping breakfast often leads to a bigger blood sugar rise at lunch or overeating later. For older adults, a long fasting period can also increase the chance that the body uses muscle for energy. So it is safer to eat breakfast and adjust the portion and composition. Even a very small amount with protein can help stabilize the body. For example, even 1 egg with a little vegetables can create a noticeably calmer response. Now let us talk more about foods people are interested in. Claims like if you eat this one food, your blood sugar will drop should be taken carefully. Food is not medicine, it is part of daily life. However, there are foods that can be useful at breakfast. Oats, for example, are often considered a slow-absorbing carbohydrate, but the level of processing changes the blood sugar response. Instant products that you can eat quickly by just adding water are generally less favorable than less processed forms. Even with oats, portion size matters. Do not eat a large bowl as if it were a full rice meal. Eat a moderate amount and pair it with protein. Many people are also interested in ingredients like cinnamon and vinegar. These can help slow absorption when used properly, but they are supportive tools, not a complete solution. If the basic structure of the meal is not stable, these items alone will not create lasting improvement. The foundation must come first. The balance and order of vegetables, protein, and carbohydrates. Another point many older adults overlook is hydration. When you do not drink enough water, the blood becomes thicker, and blood sugar can become more unstable. The habit of drinking 1 cup of water after waking up helps, not only blood sugar but overall health. Choose plain water or unsweetened tea rather than coffee or sweet drinks. Now we cannot avoid discussing weight. Blood sugar and weight are closely related. But telling older adults to just lose weight is not realistic or desirable. The goal is not simply weight loss, but a gradual reduction of unnecessary fat while maintaining muscle. For that, the most important rule is not to starve. Skipping breakfast to lose weight can increase the risk of losing muscle. That is why older adults should intentionally include protein. Protein is the building material that protects muscle. When muscle decreases, the ability to handle glucose also decreases. So the older you are, the more important it becomes to include protein on purpose. If large portions feel hard, do not force it all at once. Spread it throughout the day, a little at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Next is consistency. Many people give up because they do not see a big change in numbers after only a few days. But blood sugar reflects weeks and months of habits. A measure like HbA1c represents an average over months, so you do not need to be disappointed by short-term numbers. Instead, watch for earlier signals: less sleepiness after meals, a calmer appetite, fewer cravings, a more comfortable stomach, and a steadier daily condition. If those changes appear, you are moving in the right direction. What is emphasized here is not a special secret. Remember just 3 things: your eating order, adding protein in the morning, and reducing sugar and refined carbs in the morning. That alone is enough to start. Do not try to change everything today. Choose just one thing. For example, from tomorrow, I will add 1 egg at breakfast, or I will eat vegetables first before rice, or I will replace sweet drinks with water in the morning. One small action is a real beginning. Health does not change all at once, but when direction changes, results follow. Now that we have covered breakfast, let us naturally move to lunch and dinner. Some people think that if they eat breakfast well, they can be more relaxed later. But blood sugar moves based on the whole day's flow. Breakfast builds the foundation, and lunch and dinner either protect that foundation or break it. First, lunch. Because activity is often higher around midday, lunch can be slightly more flexible than breakfast. But it does not mean anything is fine. The key to lunch is to eat enough without overeating. Eat so you are not hungry, but not so much that you become sleepy. The biggest thing to avoid is a meal made only of white rice or only noodles. A bowl of noodles, ramen, or flour-based meals may feel easy, but they raise blood sugar sharply and bring heavy sleepiness and fatigue in the afternoon. When that repeats, sweets become tempting in the evening, and the whole day's blood sugar becomes unstable. Lunch should always include protein. Whether it is meat, fish, tofu, beans, or eggs, just 1 protein item makes blood sugar much steadier. The rice portion can be slightly larger than breakfast, but still around the size of 1 fist. For vegetables, the number of side dishes matters, less than the amount you actually eat. Even 1 or 2 vegetable items are enough if you eat enough of them. After lunch, if possible, move gently for about 10 to 20 minutes. Even light movement supports blood sugar processing. Now, dinner. Dinner is often misunderstood. Many people believe they must skip dinner or eat almost nothing to lower blood sugar. But reducing dinner too much can cause blood sugar instability during the night and can even lead to early morning rises in some people. Those who wake often at night or feel burning. Discomfort may sometimes be eating too little at dinner. The goal for dinner is light but balanced. Reduce carbohydrates compared to lunch and focus on protein and vegetables. You can have just a few spoonfuls of rice or none at all, but make sure you eat protein such as fish, tofu, or eggs, and enough cooked vegetables. Cooked vegetables are easier to digest and help the gut stay comfortable at night. Dinner timing also matters. Eating too late affects both blood sugar and sleep. If possible, finish dinner 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. Now let us talk about snacks. Snacks are not always bad. The problem is what you eat, when you eat it, and how much. People with unstable blood sugar may suddenly feel shaky or weak between meals. In that case, forcing yourself to endure without food can make blood sugar swing more. A small snack can help, but not sweet cookies, bread, or candy. Better options include a small handful of nuts, half a boiled egg, or plain yogurt. Fruit can be included, but avoid eating a large amount alone. Eat a small portion with protein, such as a few apple slices with nuts. Now let us shift to lifestyle. Blood sugar is not determined only by food. Sleep, stress, and activity level all influence it strongly. First, sleep. When sleep is poor, blood sugar almost always rises. Lack of sleep reduces insulin sensitivity and increases appetite, especially cravings for sweet foods late at night. So blood sugar management must also include sleep habits. Go to bed and wake up at regular times. Keep naps short. Avoid late-night snacking. Reduce bright screens before bed. Warm foot washing, a warm shower, or gentle stretching can help you fall asleep more easily. Stress also has a major impact. When worry and tension continue, blood sugar becomes harder to lower. So managing blood sugar also includes calming the mind. Take a short moment in the day to breathe slowly. This does not require special meditation. Simply sit and inhale deeply, then exhale slowly. That alone can help the body relax. Activity matters too. Exercise does not have to mean heavy lifting or fast walking. For older adults, the best exercise is gentle movement that you can do consistently every day. Several short movements across the day are often better than one intense session that causes strain. Even inside the house, stand up often and loosen the body. Finally, there is one message that matters most. No one can manage blood sugar for you. Medication can help, but it is not the full answer. If life habits do not change, medication often increases over time. But if life habits improve, medication may be reduced under medical guidance. The key is not fear, but understanding. Diabetes is not a punishment. It is a signal from the body. If you respect the signal and adjust direction slowly, the body will respond. Do not aim for perfect changes all at once. Choose one small change today. Add one protein item at breakfast. Reduce rice slightly at lunch. Eat dinner a little earlier. Reduce screen time before bed. Just one is enough. When those small actions build up, you will first feel your body becoming lighter even before the test numbers change. Then you gain confidence that you are moving correctly. Blood sugar management is not a fight. It is tuning. Do not fight your body. Help your rhythm return. The path is not as far as it seems. Now let us discuss additional changes many older adults experience in real life after starting blood sugar management. As you begin, your body responds gradually. But during this process, unexpected changes can appear, and some people become worried. For example, in the first few days, you may feel hungrier than before. This can be a natural reaction, as the body moves away from relying on quick sugary energy and begins adapting. The important thing is not to panic and return to old habits. Instead, slightly increase protein and vegetables. Hunger usually stabilizes again. Some people also notice more urination or slight weight loss during the first 1 to 2 weeks. This can happen as extra water and sugar stored in the body decrease. This change is often temporary and can be a sign of the body moving toward balance. Let us also talk about common mistakes older adults make. The first is expecting quick results. If the numbers do not change much within a few days, some people think it is because they are not the type and give up. But blood sugar is the result of long-term habits, so improvement also needs time. The second mistake is being shaken by other people's advice. Someone says you must eat this. Someone says they got better by doing that. If you change your diet constantly based on such comments, the body becomes more confused. Choose a basic plan and keep it for a few weeks, so you can truly see how your body responds. The third mistake is restricting too harshly. If you cut out all rice and ban all foods you enjoy, stress builds up and can lead to binge eating. Blood sugar management is not about extreme restriction. It is about adjusting portions and frequency in a sustainable way. Now let us talk about the role of family. It is not easy for an older adult to change everything alone. Even small support from family can make change much easier. For example, slightly reducing the rice portion at home meals, or adding one extra vegetable side dish can help a lot. Eating together and talking slowly during meals can naturally slow eating speed and support blood sugar stability. If family members try to manage with pressure or nagging, resistance grows. A better approach is let's try this together. Now let us talk about the mindset needed to maintain these habits long term. Blood sugar management is not a short project. It is a lifestyle. So do not make perfection the goal. There will be days you do well and days you do not. What matters is your ability to return. One imperfect day does not destroy everything. The next meal, the next day, you can restore balance. This flexibility is what makes success possible. Also, do not push yourself too hard. Recognize your efforts. Saying to yourself, I did enough today matters. The body responds better when it feels supported. Finally, remember this blood sugar is a number, but health is also a feeling. Do not focus only on numbers. Notice whether your body feels lighter, whether sleep improves, whether post-meal drowsiness decreases. As those changes accumulate, the numbers often follow. Even now, your body is ready to recover. It only needs a small change in direction. Choose one thing from what you heard and practice it. One small change repeated becomes a big change. This is a path you can walk steadily, slowly, but without stopping. And if you do, you can greet a different tomorrow. Now let us return to the topic of muscle, which is especially important in older age. Many people think blood sugar is only about food, but muscle is the largest storage and usage site for glucose. The less muscle you have, the more glucose remains in the blood. With nowhere to go and blood sugar rises. Muscle mass naturally decreases with age, and when combined with reduced daily activity, blood sugar control becomes much harder. That is why blood sugar management must be paired with muscle care. This does not mean intense exercise. What older adults need is consistent, gentle muscle use every day. Standing up and sitting down from a chair, walking slowly, dividing housework into smaller tasks. These daily movements stimulate muscle enough. The thigh and hip muscles use the most glucose, so even repeating chair stands several times a day is helpful. It may feel hard at first, but the body adapts quickly. Next, let us talk about the connection between blood sugar and memory. Many people notice that when blood sugar is unstable, they feel mentally foggy and their memory worsens. The brain is very sensitive to blood sugar changes. Rapid rises can create a temporary feeling of alertness, but fatigue and drowsiness soon follow. If blood sugar drops too low, concentration also suffers. Keeping a steady blood sugar rhythm helps protect memory and judgment. A regular breakfast with protein and fiber supports not only diabetes management, but also clear thinking. Many people notice less sleepiness after meals. When blood sugar becomes steadier, that is a sign of more stable energy delivery to the brain. Now let us discuss seasonal eating adjustments. As seasons change, the body's needs change. In summer, sweat causes loss of water and minerals. So hydration is important, and salt should not be overly restricted. But avoid sweet drinks. Choose water or mild tea. If appetite drops and you replace meals with noodles or bread, blood sugar can swing sharply. It is better to eat a small portion of protein and vegetables, even if simple. In winter, activity decreases, making blood sugar rise more easily. Reduce portions slightly and choose warm foods. Cold foods can weaken digestion and increase blood sugar fluctuations. Rather than quickly mixing rice into soup, eat side dishes slowly. First and rice last in a small portion. Now, about eating out. You cannot avoid it completely. The key is choice. Prefer grilled, steamed, or soup-based dishes over fried or flour-heavy meals. Drink less broth and focus on solid ingredients. Drinking a glass of water before the meal can prevent overeating. Also, eat more slowly. When you talk during meals, chewing naturally increases and blood sugar rises more gently. Now, about holidays and gatherings. These are the hardest times. It is difficult to refuse food. Rather than aiming for perfection, choose one simple rule: fill your plate only once. Or taste just one sweet item. Even one rule can prevent a large spike. Holiday foods are often high in fat and carbs, so lighten the next meal to restore balance. Look at the whole day, not one meal. Now sleep again. Lack of sleep naturally raises blood sugar. Poor sleep reduces insulin sensitivity and increases appetite, especially for sweets at night. Keep sleep and wake times regular. Keep naps short, avoid late-night snacks, and create a calming bedtime routine. A warm shower or gentle stretching can help. Finally, mindset. Blood sugar management is not driven by fear. Fear creates tension, and tension disrupts balance. Approach it with care for yourself. You do not need perfection. Consistency matters more. 1 or 2 days of poor eating does not ruin everything. You can always return. What you heard is not a magic trick. It is a set of basic principles that last. Even in older age, the body can recover. Trust that ability and guide it gently. Starting now is not too late. Aim to feel slightly better tomorrow than today. That is the true goal. If you continue slowly but steadily, not only blood sugar, but life balance can improve.